Yo, what up? Happy holidays to the people. Your boy Bush, Bud Light reaction video. Man, this reaction, you know, something that's been said over the years about Akademiks. They say he took part in all the violence in Chiraq. I don't know if I agree with that. I do know that he was a large factor when it comes to this internet shit and people learning about Chicago. He gave dudes their nicknames and everything else. He was something, you know, that when it comes to Chiraq, he definitely had a lot to deal with what's going on out there. But as far as starting the war, no, I don't think I'm rocking with that one. But, you know, we're going to watch a little bit of this hip-hop history. Shout out to hip-hop history for sure, as always. I found it interesting, so I'm going to go ahead. I didn't watch it yet, but I found the title interesting. I want to see what they, the proof that they have on Akademiks that saying that he started this war in Chiraq or he had a part of it. So let's get right into it, man. It's your boy Bush, hip hop history. Let's start it off.
Pretty much they said that he spells his name with reckless with 2 Z's because he'll put a nigga to sleep real quick.
What if I told you that one man sitting?
I said it from the beginning.
I call Lil Reese the Grim Reaper. I remember hearing that Lil J got shot, he survived, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I thought usually when you get shot, you die.
See how they laugh at the matter and like it's all a game. That's what I don't understand either. When I'm talking about some shit like this, you never find me laughing because it ain't no game to me. But I guess that's one thing that irked the people. You got your man giggling. Is that Dre? Who the hell is that? They laughing and shit. He said, I call Lil Reese the Reaper. I call da-da-da. He proud of giving these killers their nicknames and shit.
It was like, this guy's got shot at Wolverine. He was dancing like 3 days later.
He's pretty much notorious in Chiraq, one of the guys. And pretty much they said that he spells his name with reckless with 2 Z's because he'll put a nigga to sleep real quick.
What if I told you that one man sitting behind a computer screen in New Jersey was responsible for escalating a gang war that claimed dozens of lives in Chicago? What if that same man made millions of dollars by turning real murders into entertainment content?
You got a lot of people, you know, superstitious people in the world that feel like Act got some karma coming in. What y'all think, man? He and other people that's in support of him say he was just reporting the news. We'll see.
Giving killers superhero nicknames and creating a twisted reality show out of people's pain. Between 2014 and 2017, DJ Akademiks didn't just cover the Chicago drill scene, he weaponized it. His war in Chicago.
Damn, hip-hop history, it sounds like a real voice, but obviously it ain't. That's AI. It's AI shit getting crazy. DJ Akademiks.
Series turned gang violence into viral content, giving young killers the fame they craved and the motivation to keep pulling triggers. While families buried their sons, Akademiks counted his YouTube checks. Today, he tries to distance himself from the blood on his hands, claiming he was just a journalist covering what was already happening. But the evidence tells a different story, one of a man who turned tragedy into profit and helped fuel one of the deadliest periods in Chicago's history.
You could definitely see why DJ Akademiks will support Trap Lord Ross, Adam 22, who are doing the same things. You know, Vlad is different. Vlad is more of a historian. He do got some police questions, but you got these dudes, Trap Lord Ross, Adam 22, 1090J, a bunch of other dudes that just are interested in the bullshit and they pump it up. They sensationalize it, but of course we already know that's going to happen because where there's money, the bloodsucker's gonna come sniffing and getting.
Stay until the end of this video because I'm about to expose exactly how DJ Akademiks became the puppet master of Chicago's gang war and why the hip-hop community is finally holding him accountable for the lives lost in his pursuit of clicks and cash. To understand how Alan Livingston, DJ Akademiks' real name, became the architect of Chicago's digital gang war, we need to go back to his roots. Born on May 17, 1989 in Spanish Town, Jamaica, Alan's early life was shaped by struggle and ambition.
Yeah, let's not cap. He's Jamaican. In Jamaica, you know, they don't breed no softies and shit like that. If he's from there, he's born there, I'm sure he went through some type of trauma, you know, in his life.
In equal measure. His mother was a teacher, his father a principal. Education was everything in the Livingston household. My mom teacher, father principal. We had no life. All we did was just bookwork, bookwork. Akademiks would later recall. This academic pressure would follow him across continents and shape his obsessive personality that would later drive him to post 7 videos a day while exploiting Chicago's violence.
Damn, 7
The
a
Livingston
day.
family represented the Caribbean immigrant dream. Educated, hardworking, and determined to succeed in
One
America.
thing I gotta respect is his hustle too. That boy went hard. I ain't gonna hold him.
But this dream came at a cost. Alan's childhood was devoid of the typical experiences that might have taught him empathy or social connection. Instead, he was raised in an environment where achievement was everything and human connection was secondary. When Alan was young, his mother made the difficult decision to leave him and his brother in Jamaica while she immigrated to the United States. Like many Caribbean immigrants, she painted a picture of America as the promised land.
They said, look at picnic, me have to go, make money. Stay here, stay in our school. Me send for you. Come back. Looked like she made a good decision because I think Act just copped her a big ass house.
We thought she was rich because she was sending down these big barrels of supplies, Alan remembered. The reality was far different. His mother was working 3 jobs, living in poor conditions, and eventually paid an American man $20,000 to marry her just to become a U.S. citizen. This early abandonment would...
I know. They got the information, but these AI, this shit is ridiculous. DJ Akademiks, what do you say? I can't even pronounce it. You know, I wish hip hop history used their own voice. Some of these people use their own voice and shit, but it's all good. Shout out to Dice, for real.
Have profound psychological effects on Alan. He learned that love was conditional, that success required sacrifice, and that people were expendable in the pursuit of goals. These lessons would later manifest in his willingness to exploit other people's pain for his own advancement. The barrels his mother sent weren't just supplies, they were symbols of a false narrative about American success. Alan grew up believing that America was a place where hard work automatically led to...
And use a goofy for watching it too. I know the history, nigga. The fuck you mean I'm believing it?
Wealth and respect. This naive understanding of American society would later influence his victim-blaming approach to covering Chicago's violence. In 2001, 12-year-old Alan finally joined his mother in America, but the dream quickly became a nightmare. It was just a story of quickly realizing the stories of what you heard that the United States was, ain't it? He said.
I ain't heard no nightmare yet. Sound like the regular, you know, because I'm half West Indian. That's normal shit. The parents go away, send for the youth, them they come. And
the glamorous foreign his family had talked about was just another struggle, just in a different language. The culture shock was immense. Alan went from being a top student in Jamaica to being an outsider who didn't understand American social dynamics. He struggled with the accent, the cultural references, and the complex racial dynamics of American society. This outsider status would later allow him to view American Black communities as foreign and exotic, making it easier for him to exploit their trauma. At school, Alan was the weird Jamaican kid who never fit in. He was socially ostracized, carrying the weight of his family's expectations while trying to assimilate into American culture. The pressure was immense. His mother constantly emphasized grades. We're sending you to college to become something esteemed. We want doctors and lawyers, she would tell him. This isolation and pressure would shape Alan's worldview in ways that would later prove deadly for Chicago.
Mom was a real hustler. She sent him to college. And he didn't have no type of subscriptions and none of that. Damn.
Chicago's streets. He learned to observe from the outside, to analyze and comment without truly belonging. It was a skill that would serve him well as a content creator, but terribly as a human being. The immigrant experience also instilled in Alan a sense of superiority over African Americans. He saw himself as more disciplined, more focused, more deserving of success than the Black Americans he encountered. This perspective would later manifest in his condescending coverage of Chicago's gang.
All the best exploiters, they all come from foreign, from Trap to this dude, and there's a couple other ones. They not really from America, but they do they love it. They so obsessed, you know, they make up their stories most of the time because a lot of the shit we know is cap. We not talking about what's cap or what's not. I'm trying to explore how this dude allegedly started a war in Chiraq, which we know that ain't true. So, well, shout out hip hop history though.
Violence, where he positioned himself as an enlightened observer commenting on the self-destructive behavior of lesser people. Allen enrolled at Rutgers University with dreams of becoming a doctor, carrying his family's expectations on his shoulders. But college life introduced him to something his strict upbringing hadn't prepared him for: American party culture and the intoxicating feeling of
I know you was one of them niggas that used to call the African booty scratcher back in the day, nigga. Little snotty nose, nappy hair kid. It's okay, though.
being wanted and needed. My homies are like, yo, we got to start throwing parties. Everybody wants to party, Allen recalled. They're like, first of all, we need a DJ. I had virtual DJ, looping soul samples. Of course I could DJ. This was Allen's first taste of being the center of attention, of having people actually want what he could provide. For someone who had spent his entire life as an outsider, the sudden popularity was addictive. Allen discovered that he had a talent for reading crowds, for understanding what people wanted to hear. He could manipulate energy, create excitement, and make people dance to his rhythm. These skills would later translate.
Some of these stations are allies with the nigga act, and they doing some down low shit, you know, sensationalizing them and shit.
Directly to his ability to manipulate online audiences and create viral content. The partying took its toll on his grades. He failed a class in his first year, forcing him to switch from pre-med to biomathematics. But more importantly, DJing gave him something he'd never had before: popularity and a sense of power over others. I started gaining traction, building my name. People were calling me for events. Allen's approach to DJing was telling. He didn't just play music, he created narratives, built tension, and manipulated emotions. He would study the crowd, identify what they responded to, and give them more of it. This same approach would later define his youth.
That's what a DJ supposed to do. Supposed to get shit lit, ain't it?
YouTube content strategy, where he would identify what generated the most engagement and double down on it, regardless of the human cost. It was also during college that Allen first revealed his problematic views about Black Americans. In a later interview, he would say, "The people who work the hardest, you see them Africans who are immigrants, they study all night. Only people who I be seeing chilling a lot of the Black Americans, they be in there cooling." This perspective, viewing himself as superior to African Americans because of his...
Yep. We already know that. That's the problem. All these dudes, they think they superior. That's why they can report on this shit and talk like that, because they superior. That's that white man's complex. They got it too.
Immigrant background would later influence how he covered Chicago's gang violence. He saw himself as an outsider, looking down on what he perceived as self-destructive behavior, never understanding the systemic issues that created the conditions he would later exploit. Allen's college years also revealed his obsessive personality and willingness to sacrifice everything for success. He would spend hours perfecting his DJ sets, studying what worked and what didn't, constantly refining his approach. This same obsessive attention to detail would later drive him to post multiple videos per day and track every metric of his YouTube success. Allen also joined his college radio station, where he began developing the persona that would make him famous and infamous. They used to say, "Play more music, speak less." I used to come on that and play one song and talk for the rest of this. He was already learning that controversy and personality could be more engaging than the actual content. His radio show became a testing ground for the provocative commentary style that would later define his YouTube career. Allen discovered that he could generate more listener engagement by being controversial, by saying things that other people wouldn't say, by pushing boundaries that others respected. The college radio experience also taught Allen about the power of media to shape narratives and influence behavior. He saw how his comment...
I've seen this time and time again where a dude just trying to get on, say anything crazy, and once he on, he regret a lot of shit he did or said. But is it worth the sacrifice? Sometimes it is. Shit, dude just trying to get up out the hood, get some money, get his mama a house, give him a house, live good. You know, like I said, some of us sold crack in the streets, some of us robbing, stealing, and killing in the streets. So I don't know why we so surprised about these internet tactics, but we get a little upset when it's a college kid exploiting the ghetto. That's one thing that upsets people.
Commentary could affect campus social dynamics, how his opinions could make or break someone's reputation. This early taste of media power would later corrupt him completely when he gained access to a much larger platform. On October 13th, 2012, the DJ Akademiks YouTube channel was officially created. Alan didn't want to lose the momentum he built on college radio, so he started posting his radio shows online. Soon, he branched out into hip-hop gossip and album reviews, posting from his car during breaks at his day job at Verizon. I get a job because DJ just wasn't that lucrative. I'm in the back of my car recording YouTube videos when I tell my boss I got to go to the bathroom, he remembered. This hustle mentality, combined with his outsider perspective and willingness to say controversial things, was about to create a monster. The early YouTube videos showed Alan's natural talent for content creation. He understood pacing, knew how to build tension, and had an instinct for what would generate engagement. But more importantly, he was willing to say things that other content creators wouldn't say, to cross lines that others respected. By 2013, Alan was posting almost 7 times a day across multiple channels, treating content creation like a mathematical equation to be optimized. His breakthrough came when YouTube's monetization started paying real money. His first big check was $38,000 for a single month. That's when he knew he had to quit his day job and fully commit to becoming a content creation machine. The moment that changed everything came when a Verizon customer recognized his voice. "You sound like this guy on YouTube. You sound like Akademiks," the customer said. "Why are you here?" Alan didn't have
his name to Act in the Mix. That's kind of that's a cool little name though.
have an answer, but he knew it was time to go all in on a career built on controversy and engagement at any cost. "I wanted to just be in the game by any means possible," he would later admit. This phrase, "by any means possible," would become the guiding principle that led to so much death and destruction. Alan had decided that no ethical boundary was too sacred to cross if it meant achieving his goals. Alan's advantage was speed and his willingness to cover topics that mainstream media wouldn't touch. If it happened today, within 2 hours, I'm already talking about it. By the time the Breakfast Club talks about it, I've been talking about it. He was becoming the TMZ of hip-hop, but with none of the ethical guidelines, legal oversight, or basic human decency. His content strategy was ruthlessly efficient. Alan would monitor social media, police scanners, and street sources for breaking news. He would then quickly create content.
TMZ of hip hop, I doubt that. You gotta report real facts, or you get your ass sued. And this YouTube shit with your theories and stuff, them lawsuits ain't hit yet. The females, you know, like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, if you got a big platform, you say something about them, they coming for you. But as far as the street niggas that he reporting on, like he's just like Trap. He gave Trap Lord Ross that lane, tell you the truth, where you could theorize and make up stories and based off of the Instagram comments and the Reddit and shit like that. But you can't compare him to a real platform that'll get fucking sued if they play with people. You know what I mean? If they play with people's character, play with people's reputation and things like that. Acting did that to everybody. Shit.
Around these events, often before the facts were clear or the families had been notified. Speed was more important than accuracy, engagement more valuable than empathy. Alan also discovered that controversy generated more engagement than quality content. A thoughtful album review might get 50,000 views, but a video about rap beef or street drama could get 500,000 views. The algorithm rewarded sensation.
You know this nigga Dice is one of Axe minions. Capping. Oh, his real name is this. Oh, I know everything about him. This is Cap. I'm unsubscribing to you. Your lame ass has never subscribed to a real nigga in the first place. Lames don't subscribe to real niggas. Real recognize real.
And Alan was happy to provide it. In 2014, Alan started noticing a pattern in his analytics and comments. Every time I would do a video on Lil Durk, Lil Reese, or Chief Keef, and also Fredo Santana, they'd be like, "Yo, you gotta cover the whole thing." His audience was hungry for more than just music coverage. They wanted the street drama, the violence, the real-life consequences of the drill music they were consuming. This audience feedback revealed something disturbing about Alan's viewership. Many of his subscribers weren't interested in hip-hop as an art form. They were interested in black trauma as entertainment. They wanted to see real violence, real consequences, real death, all packaged as content.
Look how this AI thing said what they wanted to see. Everybody wants to see that. That's just human nature. But there's certain people who take responsibility and try not to just concentrate on that. But that ain't nothing new that his audience want to see that. Everybody want to see that. That's just what it is. We know that.
they could consume from the safety of their suburban bedrooms. Allen recognized this demand and saw an opportunity. Instead of questioning the ethics of feeding this appetite for black trauma, he decided to capitalize on it. He would give his audience exactly what they wanted, regardless of the human costs. So on June 24, 2014, Allen created a separate channel, The War in Chiraq. This wasn't just another YouTube channel.
He said,
It was about to become the digital
dedicated to. I'm about to really cake up. You know what he did? He looked at that check. He's like, all right, what's making the money? All the bullshit in Chiraq. Okay, the murders and the dead bodies and these rappers, the drill shit. Fuck it, let's make the whole channel so I could really cake off and then spin out of this shit. Because he a smart dude. He knew he couldn't do that forever. He seen where it was going, but he knew that was the shit that was going to make him, you know, that's going to take him to that next level. He made a whole channel dedicated to that shit.
Digital headquarters for one of the most violent periods in Chicago's history, a platform that would turn real gang warfare into viral entertainment. I was trying to figure out how do I cover hip-hop in this realm because a lot of the things I didn't like, I was mortified by, Allen said. I said the only appropriate way is I did it with satire. But this wasn't satire. This was exploitation dressed up as commentary, trauma packaged as entertainment. Allen's satirical approach involved giving real gang members and killers superhero nicknames, creating graphics and thumbnails that looked like movie posters, and treating real violence like it was a television show. He was turning Chicago's South Side into his personal reality TV series, complete with characters, storylines, and dramatic tension. The war in Chiraq wasn't just covering violence, it was manufacturing it. Allen had created a feedback loop where gang members would commit acts of violence specifically to get coverage on his platform, which would then motivate their enemies to retaliate to get their own coverage. He had gamified murder and turned Chicago's streets into a real-life video game where the
only reason why a platform would use the AI voice is because they don't like their voice. It's probably a suburban voice. It's probably a UK voice, Australian voice. Who knows? But I'm always nervous when the platforms can't use their damn voice, though. But I'm gonna give this a little benefit of the doubt. But I hate that AI shit. You could even step it in, at least get the names right. You feel me?
His score was measured in bodies and YouTube views. Allen's content strategy was simple but deadly. Cover gang beefs, drill rap violence, and deaths in what he called a satirical manner. But there was nothing satirical about his coverage of a 9-year-old being killed. Allen's response? One of the gang members saw him, thought he was one of the ops, and actually smoked on 9-year-old pack. What is that, a mini pack? This wasn't comedy. This was a man making jokes about a child's murder while monetizing the content.
Yeah, that was foul. Is he one of them Jamaicans that really don't give a damn about like the Americans? He like, fuck these Americans, human pack, dead. Like, cause some niggas, some foreigners is like that, you know? Let's get it straight. You know, your boy, I'm born in Tennessee down south. My pop's West Indian, but I'm a straight American. I don't rock with that. I'm a ghetto boy.
The fact that Allen could joke about a 9-year-old's death revealed the complete absence of empathy that allowed him to build his career on other people's trauma, and his audience ate it up with comments celebrating the content and asking for more coverage of similar incidents. The war in Chiraq became appointment viewing for suburban kids who wanted to experience gang violence from the safety of their bedrooms. Obviously, to a bunch of people who lived in the suburbs who were watching me, there was just the common stuff like, oh yeah, we smoking on so-and-so today. And I'm like, damn, that's someone that died, Allen admitted. Nobody cared. Allen was feeding his audience a steady diet of black...
And what he did do is help desensitize this shit with the YouTube streets and everything else. In the streets, period, because the streets was watching this shit. He desensitized the talk. And then now Square Bears is talking like these real killers, like these little psychopath killers out here that have been abused, that went through their trauma in their life and became different. He's making it like everybody's like that when you desensitize that type of shit with this language that you're making, you know, normal, which is not normal. That's not normal. That's not language for the regular person.
Death and trauma, packaging it as entertainment for people who had never experienced the poverty, systemic racism, and lack of opportunities that created these conditions in the first place. His viewers could consume Black suffering like it was a Netflix series, complete with characters to root for and against. The impact was immediate and deadly. Gang members started seeing Allen's platform as the ultimate validation. Getting covered on the war in Chiraq meant you were somebody.
I could definitely see that. I could believe that. I could rock with that for sure. Because that's just how ignorant, you know, how the shit get in the streets.
It meant your enemies would see you as a threat. It meant you mattered in a world that had otherwise written you off. Young men who might have stayed in school or found other paths to respect and recognition instead picked up guns, knowing that one viral moment of violence could make them famous. Allen had created a perverse incentive structure where murder was rewarded with fame.
Because when he named Lil Reese, the Grim Reaper, when he named these other dudes, I can't recall them all. Everybody else want to get a name too, nigga. Be infamous. Chicago's the land of Al Capone, nigga. Yeah, he played that. He knew what he was doing.
Violence was the currency for recognition. The comment sections became digital war zones where fans would instigate further violence. Y'all better slide for deceased gang member, or when y'all gonna get back for victim's name. These weren't just comments, they were calls to action that real people with real guns would read and act upon. Allen's audience became active participants in the violence.
Remember that saying, ride Pavon, slide Pavon? That type of lingo was made possible for all the regular people to be saying. Act started that culture too. He helped it for sure.
Violence. They would tag gang members in comments, challenging them to retaliate for disrespect or deaths. They would keep score of who was winning based on body counts. They would create their own content, memes, videos, social media posts that further glorified the violence Allen was covering. The platform also created a twisted form of celebrity culture around gang violence. Gang members would gain followers, receive fan mail, and develop online personas based on their violent reputations. Allen had turned killers into influencers, giving them the fame and attention that society had otherwise denied them. This celebrity culture made violence more appealing to young men who had few other paths to recognition and respect. In communities where legitimate opportunities were scarce, Allen's platform offered an alternative route to fame that required only a willingness to kill or be killed. Allen's nickname system wasn't just branding. It was psychological warfare that dehumanized real people and encouraged them to live up to violent personas. By giving gang members superhero names, he was encouraging them to embody these characters, to make decisions based on maintaining their reputations rather than preserving their lives. The Grim Reaper had to keep reaping. The Chiraq demon had to keep being demonic. The Wolverine had to keep surviving and fighting back. These weren't just names, they were identities that came with expectations and responsibilities that could only be fulfilled through violence.
Boy wasn't concerned with the violence that would bring. He was concerned with that bag, as he should be. And I understand where the insensitivity come from, because like I said, he's Jamaican, he's born in Jamaica. Some of these Jamaicans don't look at the black kids in America as their brothers and shit like that. They look at us, like I said, beneath us. Some of them, not all of them.
Allen understood exactly what he was doing. I was giving them nicknames like, yo, these dudes are evil, he said. But evil was exactly what he wanted them to be, because evil sold views. The more demonic and inhuman he could make these young men appear, the easier it was for his audience to consume their deaths as entertainment. The most tragic example was Lil Reese, who Allen dubbed the Grim Reaper because of how many times he'd survived being shot. Reese eventually embraced this nickname, even naming a mixtape after it. But the name came with a burden. He had to live up to the reputation of being death incarnate, which meant he could never back down from conflicts or show weakness. Allen's nicknames created a hierarchy of violence where the most dangerous and...
He was a young nigga. He was younger. Now he older. He probably like, fuck, I let this nerd gas me up for.
Unpredictable individuals received the coolest names and the most coverage. This incentivized increasingly extreme behavior as gang members competed for Allen's attention and the fame that came with it. The nicknames also made it easier for Allen's audience to dehumanize the people he was covering. The Grim Reaper wasn't a young man named Tavares Taylor who had been failed by every system that should have protected him. He was a character in Allen's twisted reality show, a villain whose death would be entertaining rather than tragic. Allen's naming system extended beyond individuals to entire conflicts. He would create storylines around gang beefs, giving them dramatic titles and treating them like ongoing television series. The war in Chiraq itself was just the overarching title for dozens of smaller conflicts that Allen packaged as entertainment. These storylines created pressure for real-world events to match the dramatic narratives Allen was creating. Gang members felt obligated to live up to the characters Allen had created.
You know, he could do that anywhere. He could do that in Brooklyn. He could do that anywhere he want right now and continue to make a great bag. But why has he stopped? I'm sure he's still rich. We know he's still doing his thing. But literally, he could go to Brooklyn and do that. Them kids are going to be going crazy. They're going to love it. They're going to love the nicknames. They're going to be going out there wilding, go to anywhere, any ghetto, and do that. You know, he knew that was wrong. He stepped away from that shit. He knew that shit was wrong.
For them to provide the content his audience expected. Reality began to mirror the fiction Allen was selling. The psychological impact on the young men Allen covered was devastating. Many of them were teenagers who were still developing their identities. Having a YouTuber with millions of followers define them as killers and demons affected how they saw themselves and how they believed others saw them. Allen's nicknames also affected how law enforcement and the justice system treated these individuals. When someone is known as the Grim Reaper, it's easier to see them as irredeemably evil rather than as a young person who might be capable of change. Allen's branding followed these young men into courtrooms and prison cells. Perhaps most tragically, Allen's nicknames affected how these young men's families saw them. Parents had to watch their children transformed into monsters in the public imagination, their humanity stripped away by a YouTuber who had never met them.
See, a little bit of black in them made them stop doing that like that. But you got Trap Lord Ross. He going all the way in, and he ain't stopping. He going to the top with it.
And didn't care about their potential for redemption. By 2015, the war in Chiraq had created a self-perpetuating cycle of violence that operated like a twisted social media algorithm. Gang members would commit acts of violence specifically to get Allen's attention. Allen would cover the violence, giving it his satirical spin and memorable nicknames. His audience would react, often instigating further violence in the comments. The opposing gang would feel pressured to retaliate to maintain their reputation and get their own coverage. This cycle was most evident in the ongoing beef between different Chicago factions. When FBG Duck was killed, Allen didn't just report it. He created an entire content series around it, complete with graphics, backstory, and speculation about who was.
That was after the war in Chiraq, so he's still doing it in a way, but this is different because I guess high-profile shit. He's in a position where he has to report on this type of shit. But let's see what this AI is talking about. Sorry, hip hop history, but the voice, man.
Responsible. The coverage turned Duck's death into a cliffhanger, with Allen's audience eagerly waiting to see how his enemies would respond. The comment sections became recruitment centers for violence. Fans would tag gang members, challenging them to slide for their dead friends. They would keep score of who was winning the war based on body counts. They would create their own content, memes, videos, social media posts that further glorified the violence Allen was covering. Allen's platform had become the unofficial scoreboard for Chicago's gang war. Getting mentioned on the war in Chiraq was like getting your name in the newspaper, except
that's kind of fucked up when the streets let the internet do that, gas them up, and put but you know, the streets ain't these are kids we talk about. This ain't the streets. These ain't the OGs that, you know, that we know of and things like that. These are kids for the most part. A lot of these kids, the clout gets so big and this internet shit and all that gets so, you know, so big, influential. They do some dumb shit to crash out, and then right after they regret it. Like, what the fuck I do? They about to tell on everybody, obviously, and things like that. But these are kids, homie. That's another thing for the most part.
The newspaper was actively encouraging more violence to generate more content. Young men would commit murders specifically to get featured in Allen's next video. The most insidious part was how Allen framed this as inevitable. "I don't believe I caused any murder," he would later claim. "But if my videos, because they were popular, instigated any two parties, I'll take blame for that." This was a classic case of having your cake and eating it too. Taking credit for the platform's influence when it benefited him, but denying responsibility when people died. The truth is that Allen's content didn't just cover the gang war, it accelerated it. His platform gave young men a reason to kill and die that went beyond territory, drugs, or personal beefs. Now they were killing for fame, for recognition, for the chance to be featured in Allen's next video. The viral nature of Allen's content also meant that local conflicts became national entertainment. Beefs that might have stayed contained within Chicago neighborhoods were now being watched by millions of people around the world. This global audience created additional pressure for gang members to live up to their reputations and provide the content viewers expected. Allen's coverage also affected the timing and intensity of retaliations. Gang members knew that immediate responses to disrespect or
this one they start tripping because they don't have no examples as they speak on these things. But let's go.
violence would be more likely to get coverage than delayed reactions. This created pressure for quick, often poorly planned retaliations that resulted in more deaths and arrests. The platform's influence extended beyond Chicago to other cities where young men saw the fame and attention that Allen's coverage could provide. Gang members in other cities began copying Chicago's drill scene, hoping to get their own coverage and recognition from Allen or similar content creators. Allen's success also inspired copycats who created their own channels covering gang violence in different cities. The war in Chiraq had created an entire industry of death merchants, all competing to see who could exploit urban violence most effectively. Each new channel meant more incentives for violence, more platforms for instigating conflicts, and more ways to monetize Black trauma. While Allen was counting his YouTube checks, real families were burying their children. The war in Chiraq wasn't just content. It was a body count that included teenagers, young adults, and even innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire of conflicts that Allen's platform helped escalate and perpetuate. The most heartbreaking aspect was how young these victims were. Many of the people Allen was covering weren't hardened criminals. They were kids, some as young as 14 or 15, who got caught up in cycles of violence that Allen's platform helped perpetuate. These were children who should have been in school, playing sports, or learning trades, but instead were carrying guns and planning murders to get featured on a YouTube channel. Take the case of Gakira Barnes, known as K.I., who was killed at just 17 years old. Allen covered her death as content, complete with his signature satirical tone.
Come on now, everybody did that. You feel me? I'm gonna have to leave them alone. That AI shit is fucking with me. And I like to have examples. I need examples of this shit. You got the Little Reese. That's the one name he made. Little Reese from Old Block. Old Block went on to become one of the most famous fucking hoods in Chicago. Producing rappers like King Von, you know, as we know. The boss of Old Block, who started, not the boss of Old Block, but the one who started this drill rap and put Old Block on the map. We all know Chief Keef. That Chief Keef was before the war in Chiraq. Chief Keef probably brought Akademiks to their attention. You feel me? To the attention scene Old Block. Chief Keef made it big, but as far as this other shit, yeah, he helped, like I said, and he helped desensitize the language to where the fans are saying we smoking on this or we doing that. But all that other shit, that's a stretch, you know. They doing a lot. And I know they're going to get views. It's a good video, I guess. The AI voice messed me up, but you got to have more, you know, more facts, more history about that shit. Let's not just make a whole thing and start throwing in, using the AI to make your words and shit like that. Come on now. Let me watch a little piece of some of the war in Chiraq and really peep out what he was doing and see, like, analyze it.
Tell them boys. Tell Rico. Tell Rico. Nigga. Tell him, nigga. That's your man. He's not allowed on that. That's your man. That's your man. Why you think this?
See how they performing? They performing for the internet. I think this is Akademiks video of war in Chiraq.
That's your man. Chris, is that your fucking man? Huh? Is that your man? Is that your man? Is that your man? Huh? Huh?
Niggas ain't getting talked about. You feel me? Niggas is some no names. So they want to hop in other niggas' beef and start shit with motherfuckers just to be talked about, just to be relevant. You feel me? What the fuck is you mad for there?
In the gut, he was in the gutter getting all the footage, getting all the information.
Hey, according to Snap Dogg, he says he's a trained boxer, but he's still a savage. He's with the shits. He says Rico Reckless, who's from Chiraq, I call him the boogeyman of Chiraq, could not come to
the boogeyman of Chiraq. Okay, that one didn't last. That nickname,
Detroit, because he said so. I don't know. Okay, basically all these Negroes, they claim they own cities, blocks, hoods, motherfucking states. You never know. Okay, they claim they could put a no-fly zone out for somebody, and you cannot come there. Now, listen, most of the places they're telling people they can't come don't look too like pleasure in any.
Academics got him a bottle. He at work got a little bottle in the whip. Yeah, let me go make this video. Turn up, start talking crazy as hell, safe in that whip somewhere in Jersey. Yeah.
Don't look like no vacation destinations, so I wouldn't be trying to like prove them wrong. However, the boogeyman of Chiraq, he will not have his pass revoked from going anywhere on this goddamn green earth. Okay, he would probably pull up on ISIS if they said pull up. Okay, now basically after they said that Rico Reckless couldn't come to Detroit, he went to Detroit. Okay, now he linked up with some people in Detroit, and he went to a couple of areas, took a couple of pics, because you got to have it for the gram. Because if there's no proof for the gram, it didn't happen. All right. And basically, after he left the city, and yes, he did not run into Snapdog. Snapdog was very upset. He's wondering how the fuck did we have some natives of Detroit showing the Chiraq nigga around when I said he couldn't come here. Now, basically, after that, this video came out, and you guys have seen what I'm seeing. All right, basically, it's a Detroit nigga or a Detroit goon confronting the guy who brought Rico Reckless there and saying, "Why
the war in Chiraq spread to Detroit?"
City representation. Again, none of these niggas own shit but the shirt on their back. Okay, now homie gets yoked up and basically get a stern warning, and then afterwards, after you've escaped this situation, he's talking all tough, saying he didn't have what he had on him, and yo, listen, he got caught.
Fuck out of here, nigga, yelling at me. It's time to fight. You have to beat me up right there because I'm swinging to your chin, swinging right there. I don't give a fuck who you are, what you are, nigga. I'm about to die then, nigga, because I'm not. Nah, he got me fucked up getting handled like that. He says, "Say it." Yeah, you know, a little sensationalization. He tried to give a name. I don't know if that name caught on. Let's check this one on. This Academics. Chief Keef.
Hey Lee.
What's up, man?
Tell them what we doing.
It's all on TVs.
From what? Where we
And the thing is unfair, man. I told you Chief Keef is fucking up in his career because he's choosing the now money over later money. As what I mean by that is he's picking his management over his record label, and he is touring, but
okay, did he fuck up his career, or is he still revered and still making a lot of money out here? See, boy was wrong about that.
The touring that he's doing is bringing in the moolah. It's bringing in the cash. Okay, his clout cash is on $1 million right now, so he could upgrade. He could move from his mansion that he was at before to this new mansion. I'm still trying to find out the price, by the way. You know me, I always try to find out the price because these rich niggas, I got to see what they're spending. But still,
well, this is not really nothing
low gang video games. That's cool and everything, but that's not bringing in the cash as of yet. When it does, go ahead. Okay, but he got to put out music, feed the fans. Yo, Chief Keef fan base is enormous. Now, somebody said this to me. Somebody said, yo, do you think Lil Durk has a bigger fan base than Chief Keef at this point? Even to this point, Chief Keef still has a bigger fan base than Lil Durk. Now, keep in mind, Lil Durk's fan base has been increasing ever since like 2013. Chief Keef's fan base has been decreasing ever since 2012.
Yeah, he doing the reports. Ain't nothing too crazy about that. Like I said, the people mad when he really got into that murder shit and desensitizing the language and everything else, you know. And he just heard he was born in Jamaica. We don't even know if he really, you know, look at himself as an African American or as or if he look at us or look down on us. That's what I feel like was going on. And he's able to exploit, get paid, go to the top, be the top dog in this shit real quick and easy, you know. And I can't knock the hustle. But you know what I'm going to do? Shit, I'm always going to talk about what's wrong with the situation because we need solutions. That's what I do right here. But on a positive note, you feel me? Because the black man is making a lot of money. And, you know, he's doing the promoting. And now, as you know, probably know, he's trying to turn his image around and get on the positive side. You know, I watched some things he's doing with the artists in Atlanta. And he's calling up all these artists to try to, you know, figure out this whole shit with Thug and the ratting and this and that, all the weird shit. Atlanta talking about streets is dead. Streets is dead. Unless they talking about Young Scooter, I don't know what they talking about. Rest in peace, Young Scooter. You feel me? But we can never, you know, I don't advise nobody to get in the streets. Obviously, you stupid as hell if you're getting in the streets now. But at the same time, there's still people out there that's doing what they do. We can never let a place like Atlanta right now with all this allegations and stuff going on tell us what's dead or what's not. You feel me? But I fuck with Atlanta, but y'all can never. The streets is dead in Atlanta, obviously, but you know, let's not do that though. Anyway, it's your boy Bush, man. Another reaction. Academics did take part in a lot of shit, but starting a war, nah, we ain't gonna rock with that. What I'm gonna say is Academics helped with now these trolls and these fans saying smoking on dead and the op language and this and that, and they talking crazy, slide Pavon, this and that. And he opened the door for people like Trap Lord Ross who could come in and make a bigger bag off of this shit. Because in a minute, if Ross switch up his angle, because right now he's doing a lot of stupid videos like Poetic Flacco, but if he get back to the good documentaries and just doing it real big and good, pause, he gonna be bigger than Academics. And that's what it is. So ain't no, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, it's your boy Bush, man. That was another reaction video. We out of here.
Check this out, you know what it is. It's your boy Bush. Just another reaction video. Let's get into it. Let's get in tune. Another perspective dedicated to my little bro, always Marco, and my big cuz, Maul Maji. Free Macelope. Let's get right to it.
Here to react. Got bullet on my mind, mighty, mighty bull. He's got the flow, he's got the beat. Can't stop when I see his tweet. Oh, like the mic